Hey, over here's George here, doing an impression talk first thing. So, back in sometime over the summer, I started looking at this cartoon called Pac-Man the Ghostly Adventures. Why? Because it was a Pac-Man cartoon. Because I like Pac-Man. I am a huge video game person. So I decided to take a look at it. And to my surprise, it sucked. As of this recording, I've talked about the first 10 episodes of the series. It's gotten like really bad, like it just kept going downhill essentially. But the main reason I was looking at it was because there was a video game tie-in coming out. Now, originally I thought it wasn't coming out till November, but of course I got proven wrong. Because it came out this week. And I'm holding in my hand right here this game. It sucks. It's terrible. The weird thing about it is the basic game engine, the controls work, like there's nothing mechanically wrong with it. Like it functions fine. The game works. It's not broken in any place. It's just so lackluster. It's so unoriginal. It's so uninteresting. Like there's nothing to really keep you wanting to continue playing this game. And what's even more startling is that they don't have the original voice actors doing all the voices, which is really mind-blowing considering the cartoon was airing during the summer, which means they would have been making this game at the same time they were making the cartoon itself, so technically they should have been able to get a hold of the actual voice actors. Luckily though, the guy that does the voice of Pac-Man is doing the voice, the person who sounds like freaking Naruto. So at least the person you're hearing majority of the time sounds okay, like the same. But I mean, like you really start hearing it when you start hearing some of the other characters. Obviously, President Spiros doesn't sound the same. Circumference doesn't sound the fucking same. That other friend of Pac-Man's who's fucking red, I can't even remember his name. Who gives a shit? He doesn't sound the same. A lot of the ghosts don't even sound the same. It's weird. Either they did have the original guys and they just weren't giving it their all, which makes a lot of sense, honestly. Or they just couldn't get the original ones, which doesn't make any sense. It tries to be like Pac-Man World, really. It's sort of like an unofficial Pac-Man World 4. Because it's a 3D platformer, and you go around, you collect things. I don't know why you collect a lot of the things. That's one of the big problems with this game, is that there's a lot of things to collect in this, but they don't give you a reason to collect them. Like the Pac Dots, they're like littered all over the place, and they accumulate. Like you get the total amount, and it accumulates over time, and it's like you don't really see a reason for collecting them, really, because the game doesn't give you a reason to collect them. There are these silver coins, and I don't even know why you have to collect those, because it doesn't really tell you. The only thing I do know is after you complete a level, you find a fruit, which you, after you've collected a certain amount of fruit, you unlock an arcade machine of not like any like classic Namco arcade machine, because that would make too much sense, but more so like some random game they threw together. So you get like multiple shitty games. Now I haven't tried any of them. For all I know, they actually could be really good, but I don't have like high hopes for it. It's just weird that they wouldn't put like the original like Pac-Man in there, because they always put the original Pac-Man in like everything they do. So maybe that says something. Maybe they didn't want to stain the reputation of Pac-Man anymore, or maybe they just didn't want to. I don't know. It's just a weird choice, because like I said, in any other Pac-Man related game, they've always put the original one in there, because it's the original fucking Pac-Man. They always do. Now, back to the actual gameplay itself. Essentially what you do is you're going around, you're collecting you're trying to eat these ghosts, and you're trying to get to the end of the level to get the fruit. I don't know why Pac-Man's collecting fruit. It doesn't even have any relevance to the plot. But along the side, you can eat ghosts. It doesn't matter if they're blue or not. You can throw that concept out the window. You can just eat them. Some ghosts you have to have certain abilities, which use the power pellets, or the power berries, sorry, to get a special ability, such as like ice, fire, the balloon, the chameleon. That's all I've seen so far. And of course you use those to try and get yourself a little further, but the biggest problem is, for the most part, a lot of these levels you can just go through and you don't even have to eat any ghosts, collect any of the pellets, collect any of the power berries, like anything. You can just go from point A to B without touching a single thing in the level, really. And that's not good, because basically there's like, there gives you no reason to collect things in the game, and it just becomes like this cut out carbon copy 3D platformer that really does not have much of an identity. The story itself isn't anything good. I mean, I shouldn't have expected it to be good, really, after seeing the 10 episodes of the cartoon. It doesn't try to be funny, or maybe it did, and I didn't really give a shit. But it goes through the motions. Essentially, there's the ghosts are invading Pac-Topolis again. Pacopolis, whatever the fuck it's called. And that's basically it. There's a lot of things that don't make a whole lot of sense, and it could be because I've only seen the first 10 episodes of the cartoon at the moment. But things like Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. During the series, they would only talk to Pac-Man and his two friends. Obviously because they're ghosts, and everyone else freaks out about the ghosts. In this one, everyone sees them, and everyone communicates to them. So I don't know if something happened in the series that like fixed all those problems. I would think at the end of the series they would capture Atreus and like get rid of him forever. But clearly not, or else they wouldn't have a concept for the game. There are 6 different worlds you can go through, and each world, at least in the first world, there was 5, 6 levels really, but only about 4 of them you had to do. The other 2 were just on the side, and there was no boss. Yeah, that's fun. That's the bizarre part of this. At the end of the world, I didn't face a boss, which you'd think you would in order to advance to the next level, like some sort of thing that challenges you or something. I mean, I didn't get anything. Like, there was this one enemy at the end of the level. He was like one of the bodyguards from the Netherworld, and all I had to do was chomp his tail at the right time, and he's done. Like, one hit sort of thing and done. That's not really a boss. That's not even a mini boss. That's an enemy. So, like, it feels like they didn't even try really with this game. Like, I don't even know what to say about this game. It sucks overall. I mean, yes, the game works. Yes, the controls are fine. You know, the game isn't broken. It's uninteresting. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's monotonous. It has no reason to exist, really, because it doesn't really give me anything to take away from it. Like, congratulations, Namco. You can make a game that works. Can you make it good? Like, if I were to rate this, I'd probably give it like a 4, maybe a 5, if I'm feeling generous, because it doesn't do anything wrong, really. It works, like I said, but it doesn't do anything to excel either, to make it interesting or make it worth your while to play. There's just nothing to this game. Now, there is a multiplayer, which sort of redeemed itself in concept, though when I was playing on my own, because it's a couch game, there's no online. But when I was playing on my own, it just seemed cluttered, unfocused, and like, eh. Essentially, what the multiplayer is up to 4 players. Each player plays as one that goes like Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde, and you have to run around the maze, try to catch Pac-Man or one of his 2 friends. And whoever gets the more like you get points for capturing his 2 friends, and the game is over, or the round's over when someone captures Pac-Man. Pac-Man, of course, can eat the pellets, so it's like goes back to classic Pac-Man rules. So you can eat the pellets, then that makes you vulnerable and stuff, and you're trying to get Pac-Man before the other players do. That's really cool. I really like that, because it's like a different take on the classic Pac-Man idea. Now, here's the thing they could have done to make it better. One, obviously, online would have been a good idea. 2 would have been having players play as Pac-Man as friends, so that way it's sort of like the ghosts are going against each other and the Pac-Man team's working together, sort of thing. So like there's like this huge dynamic of people trying to beat everyone else or trying to work as a team, sort of thing. So there's a little more of a human control to it rather than an entire computer control, because Pac-Man and his friends are controlled by computers. And the thing about AIs is they're not completely reliable for a decent challenge, and it could just make the game completely unfair, and it just doesn't really work too well as it would in concept. So there's a bit of a missed opportunity there, but I will say that's a really interesting idea for a multiplayer aspect of Pac-Man. Mind you, though, on the GameCube for Pac-Man World 2, they basically did that where someone played as Pac-Man and the other 4 players using the Game Boy Advance connecting thing would play as the ghosts. I think that's how it worked. Maybe it was the other way around. Yeah, actually it was the other way around. A person with the Game Boy Advance played as Pac-Man, and the people who were on the screen were playing as the ghosts. And that was cool. I really like that. It was an interesting way to make a multiplayer out of Pac-Man. So when they go to try with this, they sort of leave out that aspect of challenge from the human component on part of Pac-Man. Just saying, there was a missed opportunity there, but I mean, what we have is okay. It's not interesting, really. I mean, once again, it works, but I mean, there's not a whole lot there to keep you coming back for it. So, overall, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, the game, based off the animated series, meh. It's not as bad as the cartoon, but it's not anything spectacular. Like I said, it doesn't excel. It doesn't try to do good, it just tries to be mediocre, which is really unfortunate because there's a whole lot of missed opportunities there. So with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming and play better games, I guess.